So here we are, just less than an hour drive from Beaver Dam State Park at Cathedral Gorge, and you can tell how different it is. The Civilian Conservation Corps built over 800 state parks across the United States. So this is one of the first 4 state parks in the state, and it was built in about 34, 35 is when these structures were built. This was a water tower that they built to then provide water to what was then the campground at that time.
How did a water tower work here? There's a big door right there.
Yeah, there's lots of holes in it, right? So the way it would have worked is the pump would have actually sat down in here, but the windows were there so that it wouldn't overheat. And then on top, there would have been a big tank up there that held the water that was pumped from the ground up into the tank. So then you could open a spigot down over into what was the campground area, and water would be gravity fed right out to you.
And of course, all of this was to help people come out here and visit the landscape.
That is absolutely what people do around here. You come, explore. There are slot canyons all through here to walk into and experience. So maybe we should walk over to one and get out of the wind.
Absolutely.
As we reacquaint ourselves with the unmatched landscape of Cathedral Gorge, I find myself imagining what it must have been like for the Civilian Conservation Corps boys when they first saw this place. Those who came from the east or the south must have thought they landed on the moon. Now, over 80 years later, the structures they built are a testament to the quality of their work.
What are the canyons made from?
So if we had been here about 15,000 years ago, we would have actually needed gills because we would have been under a lake. So basically it's volcanic ash is what it is.
Okay.
That has eroded away from other areas that was carried into this lake from other places around, like even out of the other state parks. So it would erode away and be carried into what was then a lake through streams and rivers that ran into here.
Does that mean that some of what we saw earlier today, the volcanic ash there, came down here, and that's part of what eroded the Beaver Dam area?
So it eroded from there or from up in Spring Valley or Echo Canyon or wherever, and then was carried here and deposited here. And then as the lake drained away, it was left open to the elements. And that is how you get all of these formations, because being open to wind like this, and all the rain, and especially the freeze-thaw process, because that freeze-thaw makes them crack. And as they crack, the pieces of them slough off, and then you have these canyons that are created as the water comes down and pushes the sediment out onto the valley floor.
So it's an extremely dramatic impression of erosion.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you guys find fossils amongst the structures themselves?
Fossils, not so much, but we don't find anything that's considered a fossil because it's not old enough. But about 400 to 1,000 years ago, there were bison that lived here. And lots of times those bones will actually erode out of the hillsides. The bison probably went in there to be sheltered, and then the big rains came and there was a mudslide which trapped them in there. Now, we wouldn't let you wander around in any of these if that were to happen today.
I want to go explore them. I want to go see if I can even find them.
We'll go right into this one over here.
The ominous skies only add drama to the park's already eye-catching formations and colors. On a sunny day, Cathedral Gorge looks entirely different. So today is a striking reminder that no matter how often you explore an amazing Nevada landscape, you can always have a one-of-a-kind experience.
So back in the late 1800s, there was a lady who used to ride her horse through here, and then it was known as Panaca Gulch. But as she rode around and looked at this, she figured that these structures, especially this one, this is the iconic structure, reminded her of the cathedrals that she had seen when she visited Europe. And this is our iconic structure. So she started calling this cathedral, and this looks like a cathedral, Cathedral Gulch. And then from there, I think it became Cathedral Gorge when we became a state park, because that's much more interesting place to visit rather than a gulch, right?
It sounds kind of grand to say gorge, right?
Gorge.
Well, at the cathedral seems like an appropriate place for us to stop a visit to Cathedral Gorge. Plus, the rain is coming.
Yes, it certainly is.
Thank you, Dawn. It's been a great day. Thank you for spending the day with us and showing us a couple of our state parks. It made for a great adventure.
Great. I'm so glad you guys came out.